Hey everyone, welcome back to another PNSO review. Today we're taking a look at Connor, the Torvosaurus. Of all the figures PNSO has released so far this year, this Torvosaurus has been my most anticipated. I've been waiting for a definitive version of this species, and this one definitely fits the bill. I got this figure off of Amazon, retails for just over $40, and I'll leave a link to that Amazon listing down below in the description. So let's go over the package really quick before we take a closer look at Connor. It is part of the Prehistoric Animal Models line, number 48. Got a nice picture of the Torvosaurus on the front of the box. Then on the top you have a nice close-up of Connor's head. And inside the box you get a little pamphlet with some kitty information about Torvosaurus. Still blows my mind that PNSO writes their products and stuff for children when these models are clearly aimed for adults. You have a nice picture of the skeletal of the known elements of Torvosaurus. Then on the back of the pamphlet you get some beautiful artwork of the Torvosaurus fighting a Gargoylosaurus, which is awesome. I hope this is a tease for a future figure, because Gargoylosaurus is a late Jurassic ankylosaur, and it'd be really cool to add that to your Morrison Formation display. So enough about the packaging, let's take a closer look at Connor. Alright, let's start with a nice 360-degree view of the Torvosaurus. Man, I absolutely love this figure. I've been waiting for a Torvosaurus like this for so many years, and PNSO delivered. This thing is amazing looking. Nice active looking pose. Beautiful detail. The paintwork is fantastic. The main body has a dark gray color. You have some cream and pink breaking up all that dark gray. You have a nice splash of orange along the skull. The base of the tail is nice and thick and robust. You have huge, deadly looking claws on the hand. The teeth are nicely sculpted. Like, everything about this thing is just awesome. Like I said, it's my most anticipated release from PNSO so far this year, and it's going to be pretty tough to top this unless they come out with an Acrocanthosaurus. But yeah, this thing is just absolutely incredible looking. So let's just do a couple quick measurements. This figure is just a hair over 11.5 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, and just a smidge over 3 inches tall. So Torvosaurus in real life was estimated between 33 and 36 feet long. So that'll put this figure somewhere in the 135 to the 138 scale range. And just like all the other PNSO Theropods, you do get this little display base inside the packaging. All you need to do is position it underneath the chest of the Torvosaurus to help with stability issues. Right now the figure stands fine on its own, but over time these figures do warp. So let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this beautiful head sculpt. Now, I've been trying to figure out what species of Torvosaurus this model represents. Right now, there are two named species, Torvosaurus tanneri, which is the US species, and Torvosaurus gurni, which is the Portugal species. The only thing that's really kind of throwing me off are these little crests just before the eyes. A lot of reconstruction of Torvosaurus don't have that. The head is much more smoother looking, but there is an undescribed German species, and there's a skeletal mount I saw mounted in Japan when I was just like trying to research this figure, and that mount does have those head crest on it, so maybe possibly this is the German species, but who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm sure someone watching this video probably knows, and if you do, please let me know in the comments down below. Now, getting back to the figure itself, the eye is painted in yellow with a black pupil. We have a nice little gloss coat on there to give the eye that wet look. You can see the nostrils sculpted in and the ear canal. You have some yellow and orange along the snout. The teeth are beautifully painted. No sloppy paint on my copy. The bottom jaw has some of that nice gray pattern mixed in with that cream color. And then looking at the figure from the front, you get a little bit of binocular vision, and then turn the figure over to the top, get a better look at those head crests. The jaw on this figure is articulated. It closes nice and flush. Those teeth hang below the lower jaw just a little bit. Kind of gives the figure a goofy look. Like I say a few times during these Theropod reviews of PNSO figures, PNSO do not think that these animals had lips. So yeah, if you're looking for a lip Theropod figure, you're going to go with a different company, and the articulated jaw works really well. You get a nice wide gape on here. The gum tissue is painted in really, really nice. Nice wash over there to bring out all that detail. Has a nice little glossy coat on it. And then looking inside the mouth, the tongue is also nicely sculpted with that glossy coat. And then to turn the figure over, looking inside to the top of the mouth, a lot of beautiful mouth detail. You can see the nasal passages sculpted in there. Some nice detail in the back of the throat. The light is kind of covering that in the shadow, but there's some nice detail back there. Then going down to the neck, you can see some large osteoderms sculpted in. Some really, really fine scale detail. Those osteoderms are peppered throughout the whole body of this animal, even all the way down to the tail. And I have to say, you know, the last few theropod figures, PNSO has really been nailing the look of the scales, nice and fine, not superly over textured like Wilson and their Carnotaurus. It looks much better in my eyes at proportionately sized scales on these figures. Then you have a nice row of spikes that start at the top of the head. They go all the way down to the tip of the tail. Going down to the front arms, because the front arms are very powerfully sculpted. You get some nice, large, sharp claws painted, sculpted in on there, and they are painted in a nice, glossy black paint, and then nice and sharp feeling to the touch. A little bit of flexibility, so you don't have to worry about those claws snapping off. And then turn the figure over. The underside is a nice cream color with some nice folds and wrinkles and nice fine scale details. And then going down to the hind legs, you get some nice powerful looking muscle sculpting, some nice folds and wrinkles to convey the sense of movement. And then going down to the hind feet. Hind feet are nice and proportionate looking, not oversized, and it's kind of cool that they can pull this off and have the figure stand on 2 feet. Those toe claws are painted in a gloss blacky paint, just like the hand claws. And then going down over here, let's do our little cloaca check, and there it is right there. Hello, little butthole. And then going down to the tail, you have some nice folds and wrinkles and a nice thick robust tail base. Even the chest has a nice robust look to it. Torvosaurus was definitely a more powerful hunter than Allosaurus, in which it shared its ecosystem with. And you get all that nice gray paint and cream mix in. You have little little highlights of pink on the base of the tail and on the thighs, and going all the way down, you have a nice long thick looking tail. So yeah, this figure is absolutely incredible looking. I love everything about it. Moving on with comparisons, first up, here it is with probably one of the only other Torvosaurus figures out there right now, the Collect Day one. And I do like the Collect Day version. It was just a little bit too reptilian looking for me. So I'm so happy that PNSO finally gave me my definitive Torvosaurus for my collection. And next up, here's another Collect Day figure. Here it is with their new Megalosaurus. Torvosaurus and Megalosaurus were closely related, and it'd be really cool in the future if PNSO gave us their version of Megalosaurus. I just feel like the species gets ignored a lot by companies, and especially since it is the first named dinosaur species. And next up, here it is with the PNSO Allosaurus. I have to kind of just rest it a little bit against the Torvosaurus because this figure does not like standing anymore. And it's pretty cool to have both these figures displayed next to each other. Torvosaurus and Allosaurus existed at the same exact time. They probably occupy different ecological niches. But my only complaint with this Torvosaurus, I just wish it was a little bit bigger than the Allosaurus, because Torvosaurus should be a little bit more robust and larger than Allo. But other than that, really can't complain much about this figure. And next up, here it is with the new PNSO Stegosaurus, which Torvosaurus most likely preyed upon, and I think those two figures look really nice next to each other. And here is a nice group shot of all the theropods that PNSO has put out in the last year or so. Their Wilson T-Rex, Carnotaurus, the Carcharodontosaurus, don't worry, I will be getting to that review very soon. The amazing Tarbosaurus, Chintosaurus, Spinosaurus, here's the Torvo, and the Allosaurus. And lastly, here's a nice Morrison Formation group shot. We got the Carnegie Collection Brachiosaurus, Safari Limited Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, PNSO Allosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Torvosaurus, and the Papoceratosaurus. So yeah, we're getting there with Morrison Formation dinosaurs. Just need a few more. Hopefully someone someday does a nice Camptosaurus. I can't believe we have not gotten one in all these years. And Dryosaurus will also be great. And like I said, PNSO teased Gargoylosaurus on the artwork with the Torvo, and I'm sure that figure will get made. That's a really cool one. I'm looking forward to that. It'd be nice to have a late Jurassic Ankylosaur. So final thoughts on this Torvosaurus. I think this figure is absolutely amazing. I've been waiting for the definitive version of Torvosaurus for my collection, and PNSO definitely delivered. The only minor critique I have, I just wish the figure was just a tiny bit bigger to scale better with the Allosaurus. But other than that, this thing is pretty much perfect in my eyes. PNSO constantly impresses me with each one of their releases. They've pretty much given us all a reason not to buy figures from other companies with the sheer volume of figures and species they are cranking out. Hopefully in the near future, PNSO could do an Acrocanthosaurus. That's a species that we really don't have a definitive figure version of, and it'd be really cool if they did that one. So that would do it for the review. I still have to do the review for the PNSO Carcharodontosaurus. The Dino Hazard Irritator review should be up probably either tomorrow or Saturday, and I have plenty of other new stuff coming in over the next couple weeks. So be on the lookout for all those reviews. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.